Come on, Instagram.
Well, it's always a delay on Instagram.
Right. It's actually not taking my clicks, so that's fine. Anyway, we'll get started. I think we may not have Instagram today. That's fine. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the FlatOut Business Podcast. What's your what name do you go by? I think your name.
Wise, you call me Will.
Cool, cool. So thanks for being a guest. Appreciate it. Thanks for making the time. I know it's late for you or late-ish for you. You're in somewhere in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, it's not that late. It's 8 p.m. I'm here.
Right,
What,
right,
6 p.m. in your time?
right. Yeah,
It's not that
yeah,
too late. No.
yeah. We're in Tucson, Arizona here, so a couple hours west of you. Well, cool. Again, welcome, and tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do for fun and for work? Let's go.
By day, I am a table game supervisor at a casino. And by night, I'm a podcaster and producer. And for fun, spend time with the wife, create content. And recently, it just realizing that I need to spend more time with family and enjoy more time with those that I love. So
Definitely. I think we all should. I heard you had a loss in your family. Your mom passed away, so sorry for your loss. My
yeah.
condolences.
Oh
Um,
no, she's uh, she's oh man, she was an amazing woman. Like she was 84 years old. She lived her life the way she wanted to live it. She definitely enjoyed life and embraced it. And for me, she was just an example of someone who didn't matter. Like her door was open to everyone. She fed everyone. My friends growing up, my friends used to love coming to my house because they knew they were going to get fed. But no, it was I was blessed to have her as my mom, and of course I miss her, but she's no longer suffering, so I'm in a good place.
right. How does that? Do you have anything that changes in your life now? I feel like for me, whenever I lose somebody, something changes. It's always a good reminder. What about you?
Oh yeah, no, like I was telling you off air, um, 2023 was like for my podcast. It was probably it was my best year, right? And with everything that was going on with my mom and a couple of other things that happened, I didn't really get to enjoy it. And so after she passed, it kind of hit me that I need to enjoy these moments. I need to enjoy these times and enjoy what I'm doing and enjoy the accomplishments that I'm making because for me doing my podcast, it's giving me purpose. It's giving me something where I hope to inspire people. I want people to check out the podcast if they can learn something from it, if it can inspire them to do better in their life. That's what I want. That's what I strive for, and that's what I can. I've just been blessed to have some amazing guests the last year and a half, man. When I really focused on where I really wanted to go with my podcast, when I really started taking it serious, and it was no longer a hobby, it really started really taking off, and people have been responding, and people have been very supportive, and I'm sure but this is episode 10, right, for you?
Yes, we're at
And
episode
and,
10 right
and
now.
how do you feel when you're producing content, when you're doing the shows?
Yeah, it's awesome. One of the expectations for social media is generally don't expect anybody to see what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a common mistake. People put out content and then they're like, oh, everybody's going to see it. Well, no,
No.
right? So we have the expectation that okay, nobody's going to see it, right? You always invite your friends, but I don't even expect my friends to view the podcast. And then so it's one thing that's been amazing is when somebody said, "Oh yeah, that was I saw the podcast and I saw the one last week." So and I was like, "Oh, you watched it?" That's awesome. So people, and I feel like people are not just watching because they are my friends, because they're watching because they enjoy the content, right? So
Uh,
that was amazing. So
but
what's
let me give a quick shout out because I am streaming. I'm a guest on your show, but I'm streaming onto my YouTube channel, and my man Mickey Delaney, who's a big supporter of my show and everything. He always stops by and drops a comment, and
yep,
that's one of the reasons I love to go live. Right, is because now the audience, it's their show now. They get to be a part of the show. So when they can
exactly.
leave
Yeah,
comments and stuff like that, it gives them that feeling like, hey, I'm a part of the show. My comment is being seen up there.
yep,
So I
yep, yep.
love going live. That was one of the best decisions I made, was to go live with using StreamYard, and I do it 3 days a week. So I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely. You know what my main motivation to do a live podcast was actually? I'll admit it. My main motivation was actually laziness, right? Because I was like, because my business partner, he's done podcasting and radio stuff before, and he used to record, and then you have post production, you're editing, and he's like, yeah, it's a lot of work.
Okay,
I'm like, I don't want to do any of that work. Why don't we
I'm
just
not
do it
gonna
live?
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie. I'm not gonna lie.
right.
That's why because I before anything, I used to edit and and do all these different things, and I decided, like, you know what, I'm gonna go live, and this way I don't have to edit anything. I don't have to do it. It's already out there. So that was one of the reasons I also decided to go live, was that part of it as well. It's like I get to save time on editing and all this stuff, and I get viewer interaction. So it worked. It was a win-win for me.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, when you said, when you said I'm gonna be honest. It was lazy. I didn't want to do. I knew exactly what you were talking about. I was like, I did not want to edit anymore. I didn't want to do any of those things.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I think I come out of technology and software engineering, and as a software engineer, I always said it's good to be lazy, right? Because if you're eager to do all the work yourself as a software engineer, well, you're not using the computers or the cloud or whatever to do the work for you, right? So I always said it's good to be lazy, right? If you're lazy, I mean, obviously you don't sit on the couch and watch TV all day, that kind of lazy, right? But if you're lazy in a way that you kind
But
of make things
but
efficient and have
is it, yeah? So, but is it really lazy then? Because all we're doing is we found a way to to save time. Like,
yeah, right, right, right.
is it really, is we decided to work smarter and not harder. So we've cut out the part where we got to edit stuff. And
Yeah,
this
exactly.
listen, and don't get me wrong, like I edit other people's shows and stuff like that. That's fine, but that I'm getting paid for that.
Mm.
When I'm doing my own stuff, it's like, nah, it's different. And so I love the fact that yeah, I don't have to edit anymore. I don't have to edit in my shows anymore.
Yeah, totally, totally. We never started. We just started live video from episode one. So that's it. What other situations are you lazy in, and or maybe efficient, or maybe where you work smarter, not harder?
Oh man, this is in the past year I've learned so much to how kind of make things easier with the podcast and stuff. Like I actually started building my email list and sending out a weekly newsletter of a weekly basically a weekly newsletter of what we're doing on the YouTube channel, what we're doing on social media, and so that was just me growing and evolving to want to help me make things simpler. So using I use SendFox, and it's a great tool for me. We was talking before AI tools. I use Cast Magic for my
Mm.
audio podcast, because now who wants to sit there and write a whole description about a show or blog posts or all these other different things. Well, you have the audio, you upload the audio, AI analyzes it all and creates all these different contents that you can use, from tweets to threads to LinkedIn posts to timestamps to giving you transcripts of your. These are things that takes time. So now you use these tools to 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 cut back on time now, right? So
Mm.
now you have much more time instead of spending 7 hours on creating content for your podcast or whatever, or for one of your shows or whatever. This, you have this tool that chop that down to probably half an hour,
Yeah, right.
half an hour to an hour of work.
Yeah,
Who wouldn't want to save 4 or 5 hours?
right, right, right. What's your do you have some stories, like what's your the best success with those tools, and maybe something that didn't work so well? I mean, AI is always like it does great, but
Oh
whenever
yeah,
you
no, no, you don't.
have like
You got to.
three
You have to.
bugs,
You can't. Yeah, you definitely have to tweak it. You can't really. People want to. They want to. Like for me, I use it. Like people want to use it to write projects and all this. I use it to really just help me structure my shows. Like I feed it the information that I want. It's like when I get my guest bio and all these different things, I feed that into Chat GPT, and it analyzes it and gives me questions that I can use. All these different things, gives me titles of descriptions of whatever, and you have to take it and look at the information and work on it, because sometimes it's gonna mess up. So there's
right?
been times that it is messed up. So, but
What was your
that comes with that just comes with the growth, man. Like it's still they're still developing it. It's like ChatGPT is not even 2 years old. Cast Magic's probably under a year old. These are different tools that, with time, they're gonna improve them.
yeah, definitely. What's the worst mess up you've seen from ChatGPT so far,
Um,
or any AI?
I haven't really had any really bad mess ups. Like, because again, I don't use it for stuff that could really mess up. I don't really use it as that. I use it for more as the tools what they're intended for. As to me, I use it to really just make things simpler for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but at the same time, I also don't just go with whatever they spit out.
Yeah, right, right. I think that's probably a common mistake. That's the mistake I've made, at least. You put something into Chat GPT, it comes up with something, and then you just take that and use it. And
And not pay
I feel
attention.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, and I feel like one of the best tips, and maybe by now people are catching on to that, but you can tell Chat GPT how to talk, right? Or in which
Mhm.
style to write. So you can tell it, no, I don't want 4 emojis in every sentence, and it'll actually not do that, right? So once you kind of figure out that Chat GPT is not like a calculator where you it's input and output and you expect it to be right and that's it, but it's more like a person where they do it based on their best understanding, and then you can kind of work with them to fine tune the output. Then it starts working, right? But I've
That's
I've had some pretty bad fails with just like simple math or stuff like that, where it's just
yeah,
wrong, and then you're like, dude, you're wrong, and then it's like, well, I know this is the right answer, and then it's wrong again. So that's like super frustrating. But
yeah. That's why I try to keep it simple, and I feed it what I want to feed it. I give it the information that I wanted to know. So when it gets that proper information, then it it it, it does work for me. I it's helped me so much. It's Since I've been using it, like I said, the past year or so, it's helped me, and it's helped me just grow my show. It's just helped me better structure it. Like when I first started, I was all over the place. I didn't really know about descriptions and titles and thumbnails. And then as I got more into technology and learning about podcasting and learning about video, audio, all these other different things, that's when things really started shifting. And when I started really focusing on those things, that's when the tools started coming. That's when people started introducing me to certain tools because they saw, oh man, you're serious about this. Maybe this tool might help you out. Maybe this right here, or even shout out to my man Phil Better. Also, he got me into he started a program, but he ran a beta first, and he was like, "Yo, I want to have you test out this beta for me," and I did, and from there I learned how to automate my podcast, how to automate certain things for my podcast, and it's these things that when people see that you're serious about learning and wanting to improve, that they are more than willing to help you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's awesome. What's your back to AI? Kind of, what's your opinion, or do you think everybody should start using AI, or every
It's not
business?
it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone.
Okay.
Um, but I I would suggest if you're someone who really wants to grow and develop your business and um you need to s- learn how to use AI. There's certain tools that will benefit you, and it's not all. Yes, it has its cons. It has people who abuse it and use it in the wrong way. But if you use it in the proper way, and that's gonna help and benefit you grow and develop, like I would highly recommend it. There's people who don't use AI. They refuse to use it, and that's fine. That's their choice. But for me, like I said, it's made my life so much easier because now instead of spending hours on post production, pre production, and all this stuff, I don't have to. I spend an hour,
Yeah,
if
definitely.
that.
Yeah, definitely. That's for us too. Like the our podcast takes about an hour and a half a week, and that's about it. That's the beauty of life. So
Yeah.
well, cool. Let's talk about your podcast a bit. So what's the main message you want to bring out to the world with your podcast?
So the name of my podcast is Stuck in My Mind Podcast. Um, and the reason I named that is I had been stuck in my own head for over a year on wanting to launch I launched in 2020. 2019, I actually had purchased a podcasting studio, for a little mini podcasting studio from Amazon for like $160. And it was just laying around my house. I was just making up excuses. I was like, oh man, why? Who's gonna want to listen to me? Well, what am I gonna talk about? I don't know. And so when I finally decided to press record and upload it and release it, when I did, it was like a 5 minute intro, and stuck in my mind is what I said. I was like, yo, I'm here to get you help. Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, and we're here to just help you. ju- for me, okay, so I got to give you like some of the story of it. At the age of 31, I was widowed. My wife passed away in a car accident, and this was in 2008. And then from 2008 to like 2015, it was real rough because it was like I suffered one loss after another. I reunited with my dad in 2009 after not seeing him for 25 years. And I go see him Father's Day weekend. I see him Friday. He passes away that Saturday.
Mm.
I buried two brothers, aunt and uncle that were important and raised and helped raises me and everything. So for many years, I was very self-destructive. I was lost. Um, so when I got into podcasting, stuck in my mind was the title I had to go with because I was stuck in my head for so long, being angry, just really just making up excuses like, oh, why is all this like just going out and just being like, why is this all happening to me? To me, why only me? Woe's me or woe's me? And when I finally realized, like, listen, this is life. It's not happening to me,
Mhm.
right? So why am I so angry? Why am I just being so self-destructive? Why? And when it hit me, like, listen, you need to just let this go. I get it. You suffered loss, you, but this isn't your path. You're not supposed to be headed down this way. You need to turn your life around. And so I did. I met my wife that I'm with now. Um, got back into self development. Started my job at the casino, and just started living my life again, not being angry, not blaming God or anyone else for what was going on in my life. And it really it really is like when I started really getting into podcasts, I found the outlet where I can share my story and I can have other people come share their stories and really talk about what's going on in their lives. And if anyone could get anything from my story or whatever I went through, then I felt like I was doing the right thing. And like I didn't had no purpose. I didn't know what was my purpose in life. Didn't know what I was meant to do in this world. And when I started podcasting, I found my voice. And when I finally released it and it was like, oh man, I can do this. And when people were like telling me like, yo, you pretty good. You got that radio voice. You got that voice. And at first, you sound weird to yourself. You're like, I don't know. But when when everybody's telling you like, yo, you have that voice, this is something you can do. It was just like, man, I just got to share my story, and I know there's other people out there that want to share their story, so I want to create a platform where they can come and share their stories, and hopefully inspire people and get and let them know that they're not alone out there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What's your main tip for somebody who's still stuck in their mind and they're not doing anything about it? What's the main thing that got you
Oh
forward?
man, keep learning, man. Keep wanting to grow. Definitely, um, there's so much out there for you to learn,
Mm,
and there's so much out there for you to experience. Um,
for sure.
but for a lot of people, it's like you got to step out of your comfort zone, man. Like that's where a lot of people are at. They're set in their ways, and they're like, this is how I'm gonna. This is where I'm at. I'm not gonna color out the lines, and you just got to sometimes make yourself uncomfortable. That's what I did. It's like when like I said, I was making up all these excuses to why not to start the podcast. And when I finally decided to stop making up these excuses and make myself uncomfortable and start recording episodes, and it just started it just started shifting for me. It was started to the point where um I I, I can do 24 hours of recording. Like you can't shut me up now. Like before I was afraid people wouldn't, but now I just love talking. I love being behind this mic. I love being able to interview people, have these conversations and grow and learn and see the growth in myself, like to see the things that I'm able to do and all the things that I've learned that 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I had no clue. I couldn't tell you what the RSS feed was. I couldn't tell you what a wave or any of these other or MP3s. Yeah, I know what MP3, but to really start creating my own MP3s and using audio software, I had no clue. So to be able to learn this stuff and really see myself grow and see that, man, even at this age in life, I'm 47 years old. So even now I'm like, I'm still learning and growing. And I don't want to stop. I just want to continue to improve. And anytime I see a new tool or anything or something that's interesting that I feel might help me improve as a person or as a podcaster, whatever, I go out there and just really just enjoy it, man. I just really go out there and just want to grow and continuously learn.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you said a couple things that resonate with me. The one thing is just go out there and start, right? The other thing is get out of your comfort zone, right? I feel like we're kind of, since we go to school and everything, we're kind of drilled to create this comfort zone pockets for
Mhm.
us, where
Yeah,
you go to work, but then you're done, and then you're in the comfort zone, and then you go to work a little more, and then you're back in your comfort zone. So I feel like once you put yourself out there and you realize, okay, I don't even need this comfort zone, right? Then you can achieve things you never thought you can achieve before, right? So that's awesome, and I really like the name "Stuck in My Mind" podcast because I feel like there's a lot of people stuck in their minds out there,
yeah.
and I feel like the name just kind of reminds them, and I'm hoping that a lot of your viewers will kind of wake up and get unstuck out of their mind, right? So
Listen, it's some of the messages I received from people it's just like I said, for me, I feel like if I can impact one person's life, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do because you never know how many people that person is going to impact. Like, so it's like a ripple effect. So you impact one person's life, they go on and impact 100 people's lives. You just impact 100 people's lives from that one impact.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So what's your next step with the podcast? You mentioned something about coaching. What's your next
Oh,
step?
yeah, that's where it's leading to. That's where a lot of people uh tell me, and it's even, and it's, you know what it is. It's the teacher in me. Like, because when I learn stuff, I want to share it and I want to teach other people because that's just that's just people who hoard the knowledge that they learn is just it just makes no sense to me. For me, I like whatever I learn, like any of my friends will tell any of my podcasting friends will tell me whenever I learn about something new, I'm sending it in the chat and I'm letting them know because I feel like if I can make anyone's life much easier or whatever, like, yeah, let's if I can learn something and teach it to someone and it helps them, I'm I'm golden, man. I'm at peace. I'm good with that. I can live with that.
Awesome, awesome. So so you mentioned, there's lots of different coaching out there. We as FlatOut Business, we do business coaching, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of coaching are you thinking about?
I actually it was actually a guest of mine. The other day I had her on the show and we was just talking and everything and she says, "Well, you should become a podcasting coach." She says, "Because you're passionate about it, you love doing it." And she says, from what I see, you're pretty good at it. She's like, as far as just the overall production of my show and everything that I do and the work that I put into the show, she's
Mhm.
like, "Why don't you teach people how to do this?" And I'm like, that makes sense. Especially I get to talk about something that I love in podcasting. And yeah, why not? Why can't I do this? Why can't I make money doing this? And why people want to people who have businesses want to learn how to start podcasts, just don't know where and how.
Mhm.
Well, I have that knowledge. Let me share it.
Definitely, definitely. So what's do you have a plan in place? Are you starting to offer the podcast coaching starting tomorrow, or what's holding you back?
This no, I'm actually working on it. I have a meeting with that person tomorrow actually.
Hmm,
So yeah, tomorrow I have a meeting with her, and she wants to talk to me about getting the plan in place and getting everything going. So
cool.
yeah, it's been, and it's great also. And I had um so I had a couple of I had a guest, two sisters on a couple of weeks ago, and they're into holistic health and everything and all that. And I mentioned to them, oh, maybe I should start a podcast. And I wasn't trying to pitch anything to anything, but I just thought to me that the topic that they discuss and everything, and they're very smart, they're very entertaining. I was like, y'all should start a podcast. So they messaged me and they're like, we would like to sit down with you and discuss helping us start a podcast. And so I sat down with them earlier this week and had a meeting with them, and it looks like that we're going to work together and help them launch their podcast and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
So I think
Congratulations.
things are opportunities are opening up, and it's just, listen, like we said, we discussed earlier, my mom passed away, right? um but I can't stop. Like, she wouldn't want me to stop. She wouldn't want, so I have to continue to go out here and continue to do what I love. So now these opportunities are opening up, and I'm blessed, man. I can't complain. I can't say I can't I can't like be disappointed. I can't be disappointed, man. I'm just excited for everything that's going on, man. And this has happened just within the last week or so.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Super. Sounds exciting, and wish you all the best with that. So you said that you enjoy teaching, right? But now it also sounds like some guests on your podcast kind of injected that thought into your mind. So, who are your mentors, and how have you benefited from mentors kind of teaching you?
Oh man, there's so many, man. I definitely love Gary V. He's amazing. He's just himself, man. Whenever you can just be yourself and not care what anyone thinks of you, and be successful, man. So I definitely follow Gary V. Um, Tony Robbins. I listen to a lot of his audiobooks and stuff. Um, Les Brown, Jim Rohn, a lot of the old school teachers and mentors, and then of course my brother, my partner in crime, Cole Johnson. He's he's a mad scientist when it comes to producing shows, and he's mentoring me and teaching me and helped me how showed me how to structure shows better and everything. um I mentioned Phil Better. He's helped me with automation and taught me about really using tools the right way, and that's helped me so much. A good friend of mine, Jeff Ravilla, he's uh he's just amazing. He's I've been a part of a few live events that he's put together, and I've learned a lot from him, watching him put these virtual events. Like, he's last 2 years he's hosted an event for International Podcast Day, and last year I actually got to to host the event, and so there's quite a few people, man. Eric Thomas, ET, stay tuning into his stuff. There's there's so many, man. There's so many out there.
Cool, cool, cool. So now it sounds like I'm talking to you in just the first couple days or weeks when you're starting kind of a new business idea. So where do you see that, in a year from now or in 3 years from now? What do you expect, or what do you want to happen?
I don't know. I'm going into this just making sure I enjoy doing it, man. Like I'm not like I make good money at my job. So money to me is, of course, I would love to be able to do this full time and create content full time. But for the moment, I'm just enjoying. That's one thing when you mentioned earlier is what something that I've learned from everything that's happened recently, right?
Mhm.
And 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 one of those things is just enjoying the moment and soaking up everything now, and so w- do I would I love for the podcasting coaching to take off? Of course, but I'm gonna just take these little moments right now, enjoy these first couple of clients that I get, and see where I can take it. Like I'm right now, I'm in the mind state where I'm just enjoying it all, just really trying to enjoy everything that I do.
Awesome, awesome. What's your best case scenario though? Like, if you'd
Oh,
allow yourself to dream for a minute.
oh,
That,
what my best case scenario would be me being able to earn enough where I can no longer punch a clock, man. That's the ultimate goal is to no longer punch a clock for anyone else, and really dedicate the time to really building up my brand and building up my business. And
mm,
so that's the ultimate goal. That's where I see myself in 2, 3 years where I no longer punch a clock for someone else.
awesome, awesome. Well, I always tell people, or I ask people, is it a dream or is it a goal? If it's a dream, don't be disappointed if it
Yeah,
doesn't come true. If it's a goal, well, just break it down into actions. What do you have to do to actually achieve the goal? But now you're not dreaming anymore. Now
yeah.
you're not wishing or hoping, right? Now you're actually doing. So, where are
And
you at with that?
it's funny, right? It's funny because today my wife, like, she said something to, she's like, I'm like, she said, since we've come back from Puerto Rico and burying my mom, she's like, I see this change in you. Like, she says, I see now this fire in you where you're like, all right, you're gonna go out and get what you want. And she says, I can see that you're not gonna stop. You're gonna it's like you it's like this fire has been lit inside of you, which has, and it has, and been it's been great, man, to be able to like do this one meeting, and now I have this other meeting tomorrow, and you asking me like, so how putting about this, what you gonna do, how you gonna put this plan in place, and this is, you're not even knowing that I already have this meeting in place coming on,
Right,
but
right.
it's those moments where you're like, man, this is I this is for real, this is happening.
Sounds like it's happening. So I'll be a guest on your show sometime in May, right? I think May
Yes,
8th.
you will. Yes, you will.
So you got like what, like 10 weeks now to put things in place, and then maybe in May you'll tell me, no, 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 this is not a dream anymore. This is a goal now, and those are
Oh
the
yeah,
actions. That's
we're
what I
gonna have
love.
fun when you come on my show. We're definitely gonna have fun.
Awesome.
It's gonna be the opposite now. You get to answer all the questions.
Right, right, right. I'm gonna ask you that one question though. What's your goal for in 3 years? And I
Oh
wanna
man,
I wanna see how that changed from today to in
it's
about
gonna
3 weeks.
change. It's definitely gonna change. Because you never know what happened. Like the way things are going right now, um, who knows what opportunities are going to be coming up, and I'm excited, man. I'm definitely excited. I'm looking forward to our interview on my show,
Yeah, me too. Me
and then
too.
so that way I can have an answer for your question.
Yes. Yeah, I can't wait. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was really inspiring. Thanks for being a guest on the show. Do you want to quickly remind people what your podcast is again, in case they forgot already?
Oh man, yeah. The name of my podcast is Stuck in My Mind Podcast. You can find it on all major platforms, or you can go to the website, www.stuckinmymindpodcast.com. You go to the YouTube channel, Stuck in My Mind Podcast, and definitely just check it out, man.
Cool.
You
Create a
won't be
banner real
disappointed.
quick. So we got it on the screen here too. So check it out. You're doing 3 live streams a week, right? So
Yes, I do. I do 3 live streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I also release my audio podcast once a week. So yeah.
awesome. Well, you're out there. You're out there much more than we are. We're
Well,
doing this.
you can't see. You can't compare yourself to me now because I've been doing this. I've released 200 as far as my audio podcast. I've released 221 episodes. Right.
Oh wow. Okay.
I just started doing video a couple of years ago, but I've got crazy interviews on my. You're just starting out. That
Yeah. Right.
you got a lot of time, man. You definitely got. You're gonna see, man. You're gonna see how much of a difference from episode 10 to episode 20. Because by
Yeah.
episode 20, you're gonna be even more in tune with yourself and with what you're doing. So you can't compare yourself like you're at episode 10, right? And I'm at episode 200 and something.
Right.
This I was where you was at.
Of course.
So it's different, but you're in the right. You're actually ahead of me. I didn't do video to. I had already done 132 audio episodes. Right,
Mm.
you already all 10 of your episodes are live, are video, are
Yeah.
live.
Right. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah. We
do
skipped the whole audio thing.
are you using the MP3 as well and creating an audio
No, we
podcast?
don't. No, we just leave it on YouTube and Facebook, and that's it. So, do you recommend us to do audio
Yes,
too?
yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's my takeaway from this episode. We've
No,
been
it
thinking about
is. It was the opposite for me, right? Because I already was on audio, and I had a couple that were marketing specialists on, and they were like, "So do you do video?" And I'm like, "No, not yet. I'm not ready." So you don't do video? And I'm like, "No, no, no." And then the third time, I'm like, "Yes, I do video now." And I
cool.
press because I was already using StreamYard, right? And I was just recording the whole podcast onto my roadcaster, and he made me realize like you're already using StreamYard, you might as well record it.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And it made sense. It was like, this is true, this is just more extra content. So now if as because not everybody watches YouTube,
Mm.
right? And that's the
Yeah.
big that's the debate now. That's the big debate is video podcast really podcast.
It's a
Well,
good question.
if you go and strip the MP3 off of it, which StreamYard gives you the MP3,
Yeah. I know. I know.
upload it, find the platform.
Yeah. It's
Well,
kind of interesting.
huh? Yeah.
It's kind of interesting actually because YouTube they recently deprecated Google Podcasts, right? So they basically Google they had Google
Yeah. So
Podcasts,
and now you have an RSS feed, and
right?
if you didn't have video and you just uploaded RSS feed, they would create like something with your logo and you have waveforms on it. Yeah.
Right. But on, because Google, they had Google Podcasts and they had
Mhm.
YouTube, and obviously now YouTube, they're supporting podcasts a little more. And now also in the YouTube Music app, you can listen to the podcast,
Yeah.
just the audio, right? So now it's just really Spotify and Apple Podcasts where we could do the audio version. YouTube already kind of, it turns our video podcast into an audio only anyway. So, but anyway, it's a good advice. We'll take it for sure. So appreciate that, man.
No problem.
Well, awesome. Again, thanks for being a guest here. I'll talk to you in about 10 weeks, I think. And again, let's see where your journey takes you in the next 10 weeks. I'm excited to hear what the next steps are for you. And thank you so much.
If I get
Appreciate it.
anything if I get any openings sooner, I'll send you a message and we could probably move it up quicker, man.
Sure, that's fine. But 10 weeks is a good time frame. That gives you some time to
To work on my
clarify your
answer,
goals.
work on my answer. All right.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, sounds good. I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you being on, and have a good night. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.